Hello, friends. I hope you all are fine at your home. It's a tough time for us. We have locked ourselves at home due to the fear of coronavirus. We are living like almost prisoners. We are feeling restless because all of us love to travel. We love to see new places, to know the unknown world, and we are now hungry for traveling. But there is no other alternative. Today, we are going to read a poem in which the speaker is also restless for travel, restless for adventurous life at sea. The name of the poem is Sea Fever. It is written by John Edward Masefield. John Edward Masefield has a huge experience, a vast experience of sea life, because John Masefield left his boarding school at an early age because he disliked the life of school. After that, at the age of 15, he joined a merchant ship. So from his teen age, he began to work as a mariner, as a sailor. And in his poems, he has explored his experience as a sailor, as a mariner. This poem, Sea Fever, was first published in 1902 in his collection of poems, which is known as Saltwater Ballads. So here the title Sea Fever does not refer to any kind of fever, disease. Rather, it suggests wanderlust, wanderlust, hunger for travel. Okay, I shall discuss the significance of the title in detail after discussing the third stanza of the poem. Okay, so in the poem there are three stanzas, and in today's lesson I shall discuss only the first stanza. So first, read out the first stanza of the poem. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick and the wind sung and the white sail shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. If you read the poem, you will find that each and every stanzas of this poem begins with these words, I must go down to the seas again. So these words, I must go down to the seas again, come as a refrain. Refrain means something which repeats again and again in a literary work, in a poem or in a story. So I must go down to the seas again begin each stanzas, and at the beginning of the poem, the speaker has emphasized that he has to go down to the seas. That means he has to travel. And the word must suggest that he has no other alternative. He has to go to the sea. I must go down to the seas again. And the repetition of it at the beginning of each stanza suggests his longing, his strong desire, his yearning for sea journey or seafaring life. Seafaring life means life of a sailor. life of a mariner. To the lonely sea and the sky. Here, the lonely sea does not suggest the sea is lonely, because we know that there are many creatures in the sea, but the sea is so vast that while traveling on sea, everybody feels that the sea is endless, and that makes a man lonely. Okay, so for that reason the speaker has described the sea as lonely. And the sky. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. So here the word tall means well built, strong and sturdy. So he wants a ship which is strong and sturdy, which can withstand the strong waves of the sea. And he also wants a star to steer her by. We know that in ancient days the sailors used the pole star to determine their position on the sea. So here star means pole star. To steer her by. Here her means the ship. The poet has imagined the ship as a woman, and the poet or the speaker wants to use the star, the position of the pole star, to determine his position, to determine the right direction for the ship. And steer means to move a vehicle in the right direction. That is the work of steering. And the wheels kick and the wind song and the white sails shaking. So these are the things the poet also want. And you will find that in each stanza the poet wants something. Okay, and he has used these words, and all I ask, in each stanza. And all I ask suggests that poet does not need a lot of things for sea voyage, and it also implies, it also means that life of a mariner is a simple life. So what does the poet want here? And the wheels kick and the wind song and the white sails shaking. So wheels kick, it's an important phrase. It means the sudden jerky movement, the sudden jerk in left and right of the wheel or the steering of ship. The steering of a ship looks like the steering of a car. Okay, and it gives jerk left and right when the sea is turbulent, when it is a stormy weather, when there is strong current in the ocean, in the sea. So here the wheels kick means ship's steering wheel spinning out of control. It is difficult to hold the wheel. And the wind song. The wind song means the sound of the strong wind, the sound of the gust of wind, the stormy wind that we can find in the seashore. And the white sails shaking. So white sail suggests that the ship is not run by coal or oil. Okay, it is not run by coal or oil, rather it is run by the power of wind, by wind power. And for that reason in the ship there is white sail, and the poet loves to see the white sail shaking in the strong wind. Then there are two other things that the poet also want, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. So the here grey mist suggests the first mist that comes out of the sea at the beginning of a day, at dawn. And on the sea's face, so here the speaker has imagined the sea as a person. Here the poet imagined the ship as a person, and in this line he has imagined the sea as a person, and the surface water has been imagined as the face of that person. And a grey dawn breaking. So the time is at the beginning of a day. After a long night, when the day breaks, the light is dim. It is not bright sunlight, and so the atmosphere looks grey. And so the poet called it grey dawn. And at that time, the mist that comes out of the sea water also looks grey, and that is why he has said that, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. So you have found that the poet is quite enthusiastic about the sea and the nature that surrounds the life at sea. In the next video, I shall discuss the second stanza of this poem. Till then, take care. Thank you for watching.